All right, so Blue wants to do the video with us here today. So hey, it's spring. Blue likes spring. I like spring, and the fishing has been really good. It's been just been picking up. I saw someone on Facebook posted a pompano. I don't know, artificial intelligence, maybe one picture from last July, a pompano in March. Okay, I don't know, but I've seen black drum get caught, pompano getting caught, whiting definitely getting caught. We've been catching them low tide, high tide, in between tide. So let's get out there and go fishing. I'll show you what I'm talking about. We'll take Blue with us. Okay, let's go. I am often asked, which tide is the best tide to fish on? Do you like to fish at the high tide? Do you like to fish at low tide? And my answer is yes, at tide. I like to fish at tides. Whenever there's a tide, you can go out there and go fishing, but you have to use different strategies. Now, Cody wanted to go out fishing, and we caught some puffer. Do you guys like puffer? Yeah, everyone likes puffer. So, but it was low tide. So what we had to do is we had to use a different strategy than we would at high tide. We had to wade way out there. See, Oak Island beaches are relatively flat. And so at low tide, it's going to be pretty low water all the way out to the first breakers, like in this illustration. So we had to wade. Now look, Cody's way out there. He's only up to his knees, even though he's pretty far out. Cast past those breakers, and it paid off. Cody hooked into this nice little black drum right here, and if you don't like puffer, you certainly like black drum. I can say the word. It's a great fish to eat. It's a great fish to catch. They fight. Now this one was a little small. They got to be over 14 inches, but I also noticed some yabby holes. Yes, go shrimp. I wish I had brought my pump. Next time I come down to the beach, I will be bringing my pump and trying to catch some of those yabbies. It's so early, but those make great bait. All right, so we got a bunch of puffer. And Cody took him home, and he made some fish nachos. Fish nachos. I never heard of it before. I'm going to make a video. He's got some video footage of him making it. I got to post a short on it. But we got a nice little bucket full of puffer here. I'm ready to take him home and make some fish nachos, whatever that is. We are going down to the beach to get some yabbies. I saw some holes the other day. It doesn't look like it's low enough. Hopefully it's low enough. It's morning, the sun's coming up. Yeah, I don't like to fish in the morning, it's too early. But I'll get bait in the morning, that makes sense. All right, so here we go, see if we can find some. Be back in a minute. Now this is the morning right after I had just gone fishing, and I saw those yabby holes, and I thought for sure I was going at low tide in the morning, they would be yabby holes. Well, I searched up and down that beach in the exact same spot where I saw them, but the tide just wasn't out far enough. I guess it had been out further the night before. Tides are crazy, that's how it works sometimes, but I will eventually get into some yabbies. So I decided to go that afternoon, even without the yabbies, and it was high tide. So we're going to try to fish a couple of different strategies because it's high tide. First of all, I noticed that there were some shells on the beach. I like that. Little stuff lives in those shells, and like little crabs and stuff, and that's going to attract bigger fish that are going to come in and try to find that stuff. So I also stopped and I got some fresh bait, not at Clem's, but at the sporting goods shop on the islands. And I had some leftover frozen bait we had gotten at the beach pantry. So I had soaked that in the green stuff to make it pretty, and I got the fresh bait, so I feel like I'm going to be on with my game here for fishing high tide. I also got some smaller hooks. These are actually number 2 hooks. So from my 1/0 down to a 1, and now I'm going to put on a number 2. I just keep getting smaller with my hooks, and it seems to work. I really feel like you can catch small fish on small hooks, and you can catch big fish on small hooks, but you can't catch small fish on big hooks. Right, so use small hooks. Cut up the bait nice and small. And here's the biggest trick I got to show you. This is the truth. I take all the little tails, and I take them down to the ocean, and I throw them into the water. And you know what that does? It fires up the fish. Now they're fired up. Look at that. How could they not? They see all those little tails in there. They're like, I'm going to come eat the rest of the shrimp. I don't know if it really works, but in my mind, it really works. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now look, I'm not wading out at all. I just lobbed that out there because it's high tide. You see, at high tide, illustration please, well, if you remember low tide, we had to wade way out there, like this guy right here had to, because the fish were on the other side of that breaker. But at high tide, the fish come in. They want to get to where those shells are, where those little like maybe crabs are in there, or whatever, sand fleas, all that kind of stuff, the yabbies, anything that lives around there. So they're coming up to see what's right near the shore. And they're not afraid of coming up close because they know the tide's coming up. And so, yeah, you can catch some Well, here we go again with the puffer. If you haven't gotten out and got some puffer yet, you can certainly get some. Now, size varies. I've caught some little ones. Someone asked me the other day, like, what's a good size? And I think I said 6 inches, but really 8 inches. Anything above 8 inches is going to be good for a puffer. After I put some thought into it, I kind of remember that answer. Anything smaller than that, like 5 inches or something, is just not enough meat, and I just like to let them out and let them grow a little bit bigger, and I'll get them next year. So I did catch some puffer, but they were all kind of in that small range, and I was actually looking for something a little bigger. I was looking for some whiting. I was thinking maybe it's time for us to change from Team Puffer to Team Whiting, and I was not disappointed. I kind of got that rod out, and I could feel the bite's different. When you catch a puffer, it's like reeling in a football. It's just, there's no fight whatsoever. You just know something heavy is on the line, and you don't know if it's a puffer or a piece of seaweed. But with whiting, even little ones, this is not a really big one. I'm probably going to throw him back. But even with little ones like this, they tug. They're like tug, 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 tug. And as you pull them up, they come in easy, and then they start tugging a little bit when they get close to the shore. It's like they know, oh, I'm about to get pulled out of this. This is not what I want to do. So they start tugging a little bit, which kind of makes them kind of fun to catch. Now, this guy was a little bigger, so now I'm thinking, I'm going to put a couple of these guys in the bucket. This one, I think I measured it out to be about 12 to 13 inches. Maybe it was 12 inches. But anyway, anything over a foot with a whiting is great. There's no real size limits to them, but if they're smaller than that, like you could keep a 10-inch whiting, but they're not fat and plump. Once they get over 12 inches, they start getting plump. Oh, by the way, you want to see a plump one? This next one I got, they kind of school up. So if you catch one, cast out right to where you were, and you're probably going to catch another one. And this is the third one in a row, so I must work. And this guy is closer to like 13 inches. So now we got a nice plump little, maybe 14 inches. But anyway, a good size to make some fish tacos. And they are slippery. Don't forget, whiting are slippery. So we just packed it up. I had to go out. We had a place to go. I got to show you where we went because you're going to be really amazed at this. But before I do, Grayson helped us make the new logos, and we set up a merch shop. Yes, a merch shop. How would you like your very own Team Puffer, Team Whiting, Team Bluefish, Team Sharpnose, or Team Black Drum t-shirt or wine glass for the ladies that like to drink the Chardonnay? I don't know any of those. Also some pins and some hoodies. We just got it going. We're going to add more stuff to it. So check it out. There's a link there. There's a link below in the comments. We went over to Waterline Brewing Company. This is right across the bridge, which you can't get across anymore because they're fixing it. But right underneath that bridge was this brewery. And Kim and I went over there, and I got a black IPA. This is like my favorite beer. It's like a stout, but it's an IPA. What could go wrong? It's perfect. And Kim just got a beer. They also had these like pretzel pieces, chunked up pretzel pieces, salt, pepper, garlic, and butter. Can't go wrong with that. And Kim got, let's steal Kim's back. She doesn't need this. I'm going to eat it. Cheddar cheese, creamy bliss. Gonna eat that. We got those, but that's not the reason we came. The reason we came was these guys. It's goat time, my friends. Yes, not goat yoga. I'm not getting into that, but it was goat therapy. They brought in a whole mess of goats, and we got to go. And Kim got me, this is a birthday present. Isn't this cool? Look at these little baby goats. Oh my gosh, could you just die? They're so adorable. They're even cuter than Puffer. Look at, there's so many of them. They're just so happy to see us because they knew it was coming down. And they just came over and they let us pet them, and we got to hang out with these little guys for like an hour. And look, it's adorable. Come on. And the deal was, they gave us bottles, and we got to feed the goats the bottles. And as soon as they handed us the bottles, these goats were like all over us crazy. Like first they're kind of calm, and you're just petting them, and they're like right here, right now. And then the bottles come out, and it's like mayhem. And every goat's trying to find somebody who's got a bottle, and they're kind of fighting to see who's. But there was enough bottles for every goat, and enough people for every goat. So everybody got a goat, and everybody got a bottle, and they got fed. Once they were fed, they just like sat in your lap and passed out. It was like the funniest thing. They just look at this little guy in her lap. He's just like passed out. And they sat there for like a half an hour. And finally your legs are so tired. You're like, get this goat off me so I can stand up. But it was a lot of fun. So then I went out again with our friend Steve Adams here. And we were going to get into some more fish just to see if we could add to that bucket and catch a few more whiting. And he was so excited. He got this big fish on the line. But when he pulled it up, it was seaweed. Okay, you're always going to have some seaweed, especially right in the front of the surf. So I had my waders on. He didn't. It was low tide. So what we did is we came up with a system. I would walk out in my waders, cast the rod, come back and put it into shore, and then he would be in charge of reeling it in if we got some fish. And sometimes I got to reel in some fish too. So here I am reeling in some fish. He got to reel in some fish. But I ended up getting the worst end of the deal because I was getting exhausted because I had to keep walking way out there. And I was catching some whiting though. Kind of happy about that. Now this guy's just like a repeat of what just happened. This guy's a little short, so he's going back in the water. Pop him in here. Go swim away. Go find your big brothers and your big sisters. But remember that trick. If there's one, there's going to be another. So cast out again to that same spot. And of course I had to walk way out there, but that's what we did. We got into some puffer. This guy like puffed up and did not want to unpuff up. So I kind of just put him down and was hoping the wave would come up and just take him back in. But because he was puffed, it just kind of rolled him back. I'm like, oh man, I feel bad. Go back in the water. So I kind of had to just toss him a little bit. Crazy things you see at the beach. I'm sorry, that water is cold. These kids are out there swimming. Can you see them out there? A little bit down from where we were fishing. I'm telling you, it was freezing. And they were in bathing suits, you know, like real legit bathing suits, not like wetsuits or anything like that. Well, they can stay in their bathing suits. I'm going to keep my waders on and catch some whiting. And this is the one I'm proud of. This was a 15-inch whiting right here. I was so happy. He was so plump and big. I'm like, I'm taking him home. I'm going to have Kim cook up a really special whiting dish. I measured him by looking at my foot. My foot's a 13. He was bigger than that. And I took him home and measured him at 15. So check out this recipe Kim made. This was so good. It was like restaurant quality, delicious food. All right, Miss Kim, what are we making here today?
So I'm going to do a whiting, and I am going to do a lemon dill whiting fillet, and I am also going to do a creamed spinach to go along with it. What's going in the fish is going to be
obviously the
fish, a little arugula, some butter, radishes, a bit of onion, heavy cream, milk, lemon, capers, some garlic, some dill, some flour. What we're going to do is melt this butter, and we're going to add these lemon wedges. Foaming like that, that's what you want. You want a good foam. So we're just going to keep moving these around for about another minute, and then we're going to transfer this whole thing to a plate.
Put it on a plate. It's on a plate.
The fish with salt and pepper. Another 2 minutes. Wow, that's looking good.
What are you doing here?
I'm doing a arugula radish salad to accompany the fish.
What'd you pour in there?
Put a little olive oil in there. A little bit of lemon juice to this. You don't need a lot. Again, we're just gonna mix it all together with the olive. All right, so we've got that seasoned really well. This lemon sauce we made, and we're going to use it almost like a dressing for this salad. And look at that. This looks so good. Now that we've plated the fish, we're going to put some more butter. Need some more. Everything's great with butter. Butter's the best. But you gotta use the good butter.
It's gonna have like a heart attack from all the butter.
You gotta have good butter. You got onions.
What are you doing?
Onions. Okay. Now I'm gonna add some capers. Love capers. So good. I'm even gonna get this little one. They can get in there. Dill. Everybody loves dill. Who doesn't love dill? Dill's a weird name. Toss over our fish. It's gonna be so good. I'm excited about this.
Okay. Yeah, that looks really good. It tastes really good.
Mm-hmm.
That's really good. That's fantastic. You're like a chef. Chef Kim.